the end of the day, I'm really about this because again, that's what makes me special and unique. You guys do your rare book thing. I support you. But I do want to tell everyone, I am looking for a Jaws first edition. I'm a big scuba diver. I found this huge megalodon tooth. I've been diving for years trying to find this thing. And so I have a whole Jaws section set up in my room now that I would like a Jaws first edition. And
Guess
then
what?
you have it?
I have it.
Oh my God. Okay. So no, let's talk. I got to see if I can afford Richard. Guys, Richard has had a first edition Alice in Wonderland years ago, and I could not afford it at all if I
Yeah,
sold all
well,
everything. And then the other thing I want, guys, I turned 50 in October, and I went out. I had a comedy show out in Wyoming, and I decided to stay at the Stanley Hotel to celebrate my birthday there. And Stephen King stayed there 50 years ago, and that's when he started writing The Shining. So I would like a Shining first edition. It doesn't need to be signed by Stephen King because I can't afford that.
that's harder.
But is that going to be harder? So yeah,
That's
those are the
harder.
two books I'm looking for. So again, I love to support all of you. Like that's what I'm saying. I love being a part of this book fair. Sarah does a great job managing it, Mike and everybody. But it's family. It's every year I get a chance to hang out with my book family. And I've always said Edie is my fairy godmother, my fairy book mother. And it's just again to be together with you guys. It's just a dream come true. So.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rare Book Cafe, Coffee Break Edition, the Book Lovers Rendezvous. I'm joined today by my frequent co-host, Richard Mori of Mori Rare Books. Richard is currently in Florida, where he will be attending the Florida Book Fair, as will I, March 1st and 2nd. And so getting ready for the Florida Book Fair, we are having a lot of guests who will also be there. And today we have a very special, actually, we have someone with a split personality. By day, Meredith Myers is an elementary school librarian, and she is coming to us from her office today. But on weekends and other times, her persona is the stand-up librarian. You can spot her across the room for her wild book-themed outfits and, of course, her bright red hair. We're so glad to have you with us, Meredith, and we're so excited to be with you again in a few weeks.
Excited to be here, Lee. I've been friends with you guys, you and Richard, and of course everybody at the Florida Book Fair for, gosh, I don't know, over 10 years for sure. Since I've been back in Florida, a long time. And I've been a supporter of the book fair just by being a book lover, and then of course as stand-up librarian over the years, being your spokesperson and promoting the fair, and of course as a vendor. And it's just so wonderful to be back. And so thanks for having me today.
Tell us a little bit for people who've never seen your booth, what you do, what you have in your booth, and what people coming to the fair should be looking for when they come to see you.
Okay. Well, again, stand-up librarian is a combination of stand-up comedian and librarian. I am both. So I was a stand-up comedian for years that then got a master's degree and became a librarian. And then while I was looking for a job, I created that to be an advocate for libraries. So part of my literary comedy shows across the country was, again, looking fabulous so that I would make these costumes to wear in my shows. And that's when people would comment on them and say, oh, do you sell that? And so one year in 2012, after I moved back from Los Angeles, I went to the Florida Book Fair, and it was Edie and Steve. Everybody loves Edie and Steve. Edie noticed I had a fanny pack or a purse and that was in this book print. And she said, I have to have that. And I said, oh, well, I don't really sell them. And she said, you should. And so she's been my hugest supporter of my designs now since 2012. And of course, Lee, you've purchased a lot as well. Right. But yeah, I started with just something small, such as a cosmetic bag, and then wristlet purses. And then now it's grown into over 100 items. And so my biggest item over the years at the holidays is doing book Christmas stockings. This is my main print, this book print. Yeah. And then I have a variety of other prints. And then of course I do all the embroidery. And I have a variety of other products too. I mean, I have a cat that's a beautiful cat and he walks on a harness. So I've been doing pet products for years. the little bow ties and the little harnesses that I embroider the name. This is my Edgar Allan Poe one. And then I do bow ties, of course. John, one of my friends, John from Mori Books, he was my first customer of my bow tie many years ago. And then I do long ties as well. But hey, it's been really cold lately here in Florida, so I'm really hoping that people are going to buy the book scarves this year. I have a lot of those available. And again, another pet product is the cat collar with the thing. And again, just constantly have new items and old items that are popular. So I'm going to have that this year.
When do you find the time to do all this? I'm assuming sewing.
Oh my gosh, it's impossible. I mean, when I started, that stand-up librarian was my full job and I just worked part-time. But then when I became a librarian, I built a library from scratch in Tarpon Springs, starting in 2015 all the way up to, say, 2022. I built that library from scratch. So that was kind of my full-time job. And then I would do things on the side. And then now getting into the school system 3 years ago, this is my third year as an elementary school librarian. I mean, I'm exhausted now because I have kids all day. So it's,
So when you say elementary school, this is 1 through 5, 6?
Kindergarten through 5th. And I'm at a school in downtown St. Pete, actually, where the book fair is going to be. I'm down here right now at a school called Midtown Academy. And it's been fantastic. I'm the school librarian, but also understanding the school system, they make us tech specialists as well. So, all the kids have computers and iPads that they're learning on. So part of my job is doing that as well, fixing those things. And then I have a morning news show. The studio is actually here in my office. So right past you guys, I actually have all the studio equipment and a green screen set up where I film that every morning. And I used to do social media for the school as well, because I have this career in public relations as well. But I do a lot of things. I just stay busy,
And do you take on the persona of the librarian that
at school? I mean, I've performed here for sure. But again, I like to try to keep it separate. I mean, they all know that I'm the stand-up librarian, and then I come in, I perform some of my parody songs at school for different events. And of course, when we have dress up days and we have literacy week coming up, of course, I will wear the outfits and things.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so I'm definitely trying to incorporate them, but I do work for Pinellas County Schools, and I want to respect them and the fact that I'm here to do their job and not promote stand-up librarian necessarily. I am on my lunch break right now, so that's why we're not being disturbed. But again, some of the kids find out about it, or they'll go to my website, or they'll see something I wear. But I don't really promote it too much. But I'll be promoting the book fair at school, of course, because I want to make sure all the parents and everybody knows to come out there. There's plenty of materials for kids. I brought my stepkids to the show plenty of times, and they've helped me. So
I think in costume too.
In costume, I made them outfits a couple of years ago. Yes. So we're going to see if they can make it this year. But
well, and Alan says that he has a bow tie. That he has one of your bow ties.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he got one of my first ones too.
And we have a Christmas stocking here, and my granddaughter has pencil cases and things like that, of yours, and they're so much fun. They really are. I know, and of course I know the demands on elementary librarians and middle school librarians and everything have grown so over the years. When our high school first got into computers here, our librarian, who had never done anything with computers ever, her favorite outfit was a t-shirt that says, "When in doubt, reboot." And I think she did a lot those few years rebooting, because
absolutely. I tell the kids, try to troubleshoot these problems. These tech items are going to be in your entire life.
Right.
So you need to learn how to use them. So restarting that computer is going to fix some of your problems.
Right. Yeah, they did that. Well, we are really looking forward to having you. And I also love at the fair how you get out and visit everybody else's booths. So they're all over the place.
And I do want to say, I don't ever try to compete with any of y'all when it comes to books. I do love books, but I'm going to be selling some of my books this year, because I don't know if everybody knows out there, I live on the beach down here. I got hit by those hurricanes really hard. I wasn't sure if I was going to be open my shop up for the holiday season, but I was able to. My whole sewing room got hit. My brother and I were taking my sewing machines and all my sewing supplies up in waist deep water in the dark to the second level so I could save everything. I did lose a lot of my Cricut materials and a lot of my older fabrics, but I did save all the book fabrics, so nothing to worry about. But we want to save our books. And I
Right.
realized how many books I have, and all my signed books were in that room, and I did save them. But I've learned now because of that I need to let some books go. So I'm going to have my personal collection of books. So I brought some of them here today. Neil Gaiman, I mean, they're canceling this guy. He's having a lot of problems, guys. He was one of my favorite authors, but I may let go of this American Gods signed book
One
by
of my
Neil
son's
Gaiman.
favorites too.
Yeah,
Well,
so I have a
you
signed
won't be in
copy.
competition with us. In fact, what you'll find is that we'll all be over at your booth before
Right.
Buying your books.
I mean,
We'll
I
be
tried to
buying
sell
your books.
some. I tried. I have a signed copy of this Jeffrey Deaver book. And then I'm a big fan of Carl Hyacin. I have a basket case. I have one though signed by him and Warren Zevon. So I'm going to save that one. But I have this one signed by just Carl. But I do have a variety of books that are signed or that are not signed that I'm going to probably bring with me. And yeah, Richard knows I was trying to sell some last year and I would go, how much should I charge for this? I'm going to do a little more research this year so I know what I'm doing. At the end of the day, I'm really about this because again, that's what makes me special and unique. You guys do your rare book thing. I support you, but I do want to tell everyone, I am looking for a Jaws first edition. I'm a big scuba diver. I found this huge megalodon tooth. I've been diving for years trying to find this thing. And so I have a whole Jaws section set up in my room now that I would like a Jaws first edition. And
Guess
then
what?
You have it?
I have it.
Oh my God. Okay. So no, let's talk. I got to see if I can afford Richard. Guys, Richard had a first edition Alice in Wonderland years ago, and I could not afford it at all. If I sold all everything. And then the other thing I want, guys, I turned 50 in October, and I went out. I had a comedy show out in Wyoming, and I decided to stay at the Stanley Hotel to celebrate my birthday there. And Stephen King stayed there 50 years ago, and that's when he started writing The Shining. So I would like a Shining first edition. It doesn't need to be signed by Stephen King because I can't afford that.
That's harder.
But is that going to be harder? So yeah, those are the two books I'm looking for. So again, I love to support all of you. Like that's what I'm saying. I love being a part of this book fair. Sarah does a great job managing it, and Mike and everybody. But it's family. It's every year I get a chance to hang out with my book family, and I've always said Edie is my fairy my fairy book mother. And it's just again to be together with you guys. It's just a dream come true. So.
Okay, well,
we love having you.
Yes, we will. And don't wear yourself out before then. Hide in a closet or something away from everybody's hands if you have to. And we'll look forward to seeing what you bring, and we'll look forward to seeing your books that you're bringing.
Absolutely. And guys, you can look for me before then at standuplibrarian.com or meredithmyers.com. And that'll go to standuplibrariandesigns.com, which the shop is closed right now. But I'll open it up right before the book fair so you can see what I have. But again, love you guys. Love what you're doing. Looking forward to seeing you March 1st and 2nd. So thanks for having me.
Good.
Yeah, too. You're looking great, kid.
Thanks. You too, guys.
Okay. We'll see you then. And,
see you then.
Everyone, thanks for joining us this morning. Remember, we are sponsored by the Florida Book Fair, and the next few weeks we'll be featuring people who will be at the fair. But after that, then we'll be back to our regular schedule of book collectors, book dealers, book writers, a variety of things. We have some great things coming up for after the fair as well. So,
Lee,
yes.
before we go, I thought we should take just a minute. I know we haven't talked about this in advance. I know the ABAA canceled their fair in 1st of December. 1st of February out in Los Angeles. And I've heard through the grapevine there's been a number of significant losses in the book world in terms of businesses and personal collections. I heard the Zane Grey House has been lost. As well as some other important literary places. So we want to give a shout out to all our friends out in California. We want to give them our prayers and our love and hope that they all pull through this.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. And it doesn't seem to be over by any means. And I know people have been posting on Facebook if they're safe, but we're hearing way too many stories of people who have lost even retired book dealers who've lost personal collections, have never expected this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like the hurricanes, that you've been through.
Yeah. This one is going to be staggering.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And ABAA is so good about supporting people in the book world.
I'd like to mention too that the ABAA has a benevolent fund. And if people are so inclined to contribute, you go to the website and there's a link to their benevolent page. We'd encourage everyone to do what they can.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're a member of the ABAA or not.
Correct.
Either to contribute or to be a beneficiary. So that we do encourage people to participate in that effort as well. And as we hear more, we'll try to keep you updated on what's going on with other booksellers and collectors in that area. My son, who lived in LA for 10 years, said last night that suddenly it's coming close to where he was living. And he had tried to contact some folks, and fortunately they had moved, but that it was coming close to where he'd been living. And you know, it's just, you can't wrap your head around what's going on. You just can't. So on that not so happy note, we'll sign off and look forward to seeing you in a few weeks then, Meredith.
See you.
And seeing Richard just, all the time.
Well, and Meredith, I will pull the jars off the shelf for you.
Thank you. Hey.